Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the Working Trader, where we look at the Euro USD and GBPUSD and come up with trade ideas for the day if there are any. So, looking at Forex Factory, today is a Tuesday. We do not have any news, any high impact news events scheduled for Tuesday for the USD. And we do have something for the pound, which is the annual budget release at 12:30 p.m. UK time. So let's jump into the charts and see what's transpired and what we can expect for the day. Okay, so as I've said multiple times, we are in this bullish trend and price is pulling back. Price came back to this supply and it's reacted and it's had a slight pull up, a slight pullback, and now it's continuing to go down. And then now, as you can see, this fractal demand is failing. Okay, this fractal demand is failing, so we see supply taking control. Okay, we see supply areas taking control. So this demand area has failed, has been eliminated, and now price is targeting this extreme demand within this internal. Okay, within this internal range. So that's gone. So the expectation would be that if the internal bullish trend is to continue, when price reaches this area, it will then start pushing back up, and then possibly we'll start to see the elimination of supply areas. Okay, but as it stands, we are strongly bearish, okay, in this pullback phase, and so the bias technically is bearish. And then on the pound, it's the same story. Okay, we had our strong push up for our internal and our swing, which are bullish. Okay, and then we entered this pullback phase, and then we've been respecting these areas of supply that have been created. Okay, this one failed to mitigate, but it's been respecting. And now, once we eliminated this fresh supply, which was not mitigated, okay, of course it had been mitigated once and then price came back again, right? Once that was eliminated, it is likely, I was saying yesterday that it's likely that all these areas at the bottom are going to be eliminated because they're all reactions to previous areas of demand. Okay, and so we see price at a sharp push up, push into the zones, eliminating zone 1 and eliminating this second one. Okay, of course we've had a sharp reaction, but price looks like it's coming back again, and we might take out this this last demand. Okay, and then we might be targeting this unmitigated demand range. Okay, this unmitigated demand range, and we may see a reaction from there. So as it stands, that's how price is looking when you just do an overall look on the daily time frame. So going down to the 4-hour, where we can start looking at some details. So looking at the 4-hour, our 4-hour swing is bullish. Okay, and then internally we've been pulling back. Okay, and then now these areas of demand have failed, and then this internal, which was strong, okay, this was the last strong internal, pretty much the decisional. Okay, so now that has failed, and then now we are attacking this next range. Okay, so now these demand areas have gone, and then now we have shifted from internal bullish to internal bearish. Okay, we have shifted from internal bullish to internal bearish. All right, and then all of this is part of the pullback. Okay, all of that is part of the pullback. So now expectation is that price will continue bearish. Okay, price will continue bearish. Possibly towards this extreme. All of this has been mitigated, and then we have that area that's fresh. Okay, so this area has been slightly mitigated. Okay, and then this is the extreme. So as of now, this is what I'm looking at. So price may continue bearish. Okay, may continue bearish. Take this demand out. So as of now, we may expect these areas of demand to fail. Okay, yes, they may give a reaction, but ultimately we are expecting them to fail. Okay, so this is on the 4-hour, and then looking at the 15-minute. Looking at the 15-minute. So we've had this large range. Okay, this was a strong swing high, and there's a strong swing low. Okay, and then price had a strong push down. Okay, breaking out of the range, and then we pushed up, and then pretty much pushed down. We had to push up and push down. Okay. So if I'm looking at my ranges, okay, this is what we have at the moment. This is what we have at the moment. So price is breaking structure to the downside. We're breaking structure to the downside. There and there. So there's no question. For higher probability trades, we need to be looking to go short. Okay. And then this is the current range that we are in. I'm going to call this my internal range, internal strong. So this is the current range that we're in. So let's see, what do we have here? So pretty much this is Asia high, Asia low. So my expectation to continue bearish, okay, my expectation to continue bearish, I might be looking at if price comes up to these areas, if price comes up to these areas, okay, might be looking to go short. All right, so the expectation is price may come up, sweep this area. Now because of this being very close to the Asia high, it is likely price could sweep this area, okay, or even both of these areas, okay, and then obviously on lower time frames we'll be looking for price to switch bearish, and then we look for our short trades from there. Okay, so this is my expectation, okay, at the moment, and then to trade in line with the trend. Of course, if price continues and hits this area, okay, this 4-hour demand, okay, we can expect that price will pull back. Okay, so you could go counter trend, okay, targeting these areas up here as well. Okay, so those would be my two biases going into this day. So the expectation is price will continue bearish. Okay, my expectation is price to continue bearish. Maybe when it mitigates this demand, 4-hour demand, then we may see something. All right, and then look to go long from there, targeting Asia high and possibly this high. If it's a strong internal high, but because it's close to Asia, it may be liquidated. Okay, so that's what I'll be looking at today. And then let's look at the pound. Let's go to the pound, GBPUSD on the 4-hour. So we had our swing break, and then price has been bearish. Okay, we see our internal structure, and then this last demand has been violated right there with that wick. Okay, so that demand was eliminated. And then we do have this demand. So that demand is still holding. Okay, it's still being respected. As you can see, price just there. Okay, didn't take it out. It's still within the demand, so it's still being respected. So we could say that price has swept this low. Okay, now I could say that low has been swept, and it is likely that price could be in for a pullback. Okay, so of course we had that pullback into this fractal supply, and we can see price is reacting from that fractal supply. From that fractal supply on the 4-hour. Okay, so this is what we have so far, but this is our range. Okay, so this is our week 4-hour low. So the expectation is that price will continue bearish eventually to take that week low out. So for our internal week. Okay, and then let's jump to the 15-minute. So looking at the 15-minute, this is what we have. So a 15-minute swing. This is our swing. This is our break. This is the range. This is the swing range on the 15-minute that we're working with. So it is the same range as on the 4-hour. Okay, it is the same range as on the 4-hour. So this is what I'm looking at. So price did mitigate that area of demand down there and respected. Let's see, 15-minute swing week. Okay, so that's a weak swing low. So we have that area of demand. So let's see. So all the way back here. Yeah, it is a valid area of demand. Okay, we did sweep this low, and then with a reaction, then eventually led to the break of structure. Okay, so it is a valid one. Okay, however, it did not do the job on its own. Okay, it did not do the job on its own. So it may not be as reliable. Okay, so obviously it has given us a reaction. Okay, it has given us a reaction. But now we expect it to fail. We expect it to fail. So this is what we have. At the moment, that's another demand which I'm very much expecting to see fail. And then we have Okay, so Asia has swept these lows. Okay, so we've taken liquidity in these lows. Let's see. Okay, so we've liquidated those lows. We are in a downtrend. Then this is, let's see. Okay, so we also liquidated those highs. Liquidated those highs. And then that area of supply failed. And then this one at the top, if I include the imbalance, we see that price just came in, tapped into that, and then we had a strong reaction, and then during Asia price came up to mitigate, and then now we've had a follow through. Okay, so with this one, expectation is that this low is going to go. Now I don't have any clear structure here to say, okay, I'm expecting price to come back to these areas. So it is possible, okay, it is possible that maybe price may give a reaction here, okay, take out this Asia high, have a deeper mitigation of this supply at the top, and then come and then take this out, okay, because we are pretty much bearish, okay, so the pullback is still in full effect, okay, we're seeing areas of demand failing, so this is one possibility. Or price may not even come back up there, okay, price may not even come back up there, price may just continue, just take this out, okay, and then maybe when we mitigate this, then we might have some kind of pullback into these areas, okay, so it could look to trade some kind of counter trend once we mitigate this area and we have some kind of confirmation. Otherwise, highest probability would be we look for shorts when price comes back somewhere into these areas, okay. So for the pound, it's not very clear, but those will be the scenarios that I'll be looking for and that I'll be waiting for. So other than that, I think this is what I have for today. So please don't forget to like, to subscribe, and to leave a comment if you are finding value with this material. Otherwise, have a good day, and Working Trader out.